How's it going, folks? My name is Rough Butter and welcome back to another video. So today I'm having a look at another one of your suggestions. So this one comes from Laura Snugglebear, 10 out of 10 name, and we are having a look at a biscuit recipe by a channel called Joy of Baking. So for any of you who watched the last biscuit and gravy video, I did not have a clue what biscuits were. I kind of still don't. From reading a lot of the comments, they seem to be like flaky scones. That's kind of what I'm going with. But hopefully, this video helps educate me just a little bit more. Folks, just before we get into the video, I do just want to say I am looking at suggestions more. So if you do have anything that you want me to watch, please leave it in the comment down below. But without further ado, let's have a look. Alright, Joy of Baking, brace yourselves as you face the judgment of a fat man.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski from joyofbaking.com.
Hi, Stephanie.
Today we're going to make biscuits.
Alright.
First, preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 200 degrees Celsius.
I'm not gonna lie, she looks a little bit scared. Are you alright? Are you alright? Do you need me to call some... She looks like at gunpoint.
Yes, and line a baking sheet with parchment paper, or you could just butter or spray it with a non-stick vegetable spray.
Alright.
And I like to mix my biscuit dough by hand. I know
Nice.
there's a lot of recipes that call for using an electric mixer or a food processor. But I think there's less risk of over mixing the dough if you do it by hand.
Also, you know, everybody knows that getting your hands in there is the way forward. Oh, that's what I've heard.
Because we do not want tough biscuits. So in a large bowl, I have put 2.5 cups, that's 325 grams of white all-purpose flour. Now, if you have a kitchen scale, I would recommend weighing your flour. And to that, I am going to add 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder.
Nice.
Half a teaspoon of salt.
Nice.
And 1 tablespoon, 15 grams of granulated white sugar, just to give it a touch of sweetness. Okay. And then with the wire whisk, I'm just going to whisk all that together because you want that baking powder to be fully incorporated into the flour.
That was some good whisking. But I'll tell you what, you got to be careful with that. Because that is some whiskey business.
And then to that, I'm going to add a half a cup, 113 grams of cold, make sure it's cold, unsalted butter that's been cut into small pieces. Now, I like unsalted butter because I like the flavor better, and plus I like to regulate the amount of salt.
I'd just like to comment on something. That pig in the background with the chalkboard and the chef's hat. 10 out of 10. If
you only have salted butter in your house, then go ahead and use that.
No. If you have salted butter in your fridge, then get outside and buy some unsalted. You got to stick to the recipe.
Just leave out the half a teaspoon of salt in the recipe. Now, I'm going to use a pastry blender to cut the butter into the flour. If you don't have one of these, you could just use 2 knives and just kind of cut. Okay. Or you could even use your fingers, just kind of raising and doing the butter that way.
That seemed to work really well. Okay, so far, it seems pretty simple. A nice, simple recipe. Loads of flour, baking powder, salt, obviously, salt, sugar for seasoning. Butter, from the looks of it, egg, milk. I don't know what the other thing is, the closest to me. I'm not 100% sure, but it seems pretty basic. Like, very easily done at home. Maybe. Just maybe. I might give it a go.
Wait.
Also, that's like the knuckle dusters for chefs.
And what we're going to do is we're going to cut this butter into the flour
until
it's in really small pieces, like coarse crumbs.
That is someone who knows what they're doing.
The butter being cold, it cuts in fairly easily.
Well, that's all right then. I always thought it was warm butter that
may notice
cut
easily, that the biscuit dough is almost the same as a scone dough, but we're
a scone. A scone. A scone. It's a scone.
As scones, a lot of times we add raisins or fruit or chocolate chips even, and have it with maybe a cup of tea or coffee. A biscuit you usually have with a savory dish, like a stew or a soup. Although I find them very good warm from the oven, cut in half with butter and jam.
You can have savory scones that aren't biscuits. But what's the difference? Because at the moment, all you're telling me is they're pretty much the same, but what's the difference? It's not just what you put with it, because apparently biscuits are meant to be flaky, whereas scones are quite stodgy. It's probably the best way to describe it. Like bready.
If you need to, get all the pieces
So what's the
of butter
difference?
out.
I need you to educate me. Let me know.
Now the big problem with biscuits is people say they're too tough. And I find that's why I like to mix it by hand, because usually there's not a danger of over mixing.
Yeah. When you said mixing by hand, I assumed you meant like actually by hand.
The trick is to handle this dough as little as possible once we start.
Well, not a machine, but a tool.
Kneading it and rolling it out. So that's that. Now to that I have 3/4 of a cup. That's 180 milliliters of milk. I just use 2%. And 1 large egg, which I've lightly beaten.
Nice.
Put those together.
Mix it with your hands.
And
nice.
Just gonna add
milky
that.
Eggs. Delicious.
Mix it all together. We just want to get all the flour wet and then start dough to form. I just use a rubber spatula. I mean, you could use your hands if you want.
Hang on. Right, listen. Stephanie, was it Stephanie? All the way through, you said, I like to mix this with my hands. I ain't seen you using your hands once. Apart from when you showed the demonstration with the butter, and even then, it didn't seem like it went very well. I don't know, Stephanie. I don't know what kind of vibes I'm getting. But let's see. Let's see how this turns out. It's all about the food at the end of the day, but I'm just saying. All right,
make sure you're down to the bottom. Get all the flour some wet.
Nice.
I'm going to finish this off by hand.
Oh? Are we actually going to go? It's a doggo! It's a woofer! Sorry, very excited. This is the action that we're here to see. That's what, there we go, now we're getting somewhere. Get in there. Mix it all up. Excellent work.
Drag it around to get all the flour.
10 out of 10. That's it.
Now, if this dough was really wet, then I would go ahead and add a little more flour to it. Sometimes that can happen.
It can.
Okay.
Just know, folks, that if you are ever in a situation where something is a little too wet, you just got to add a little flour.
Now, let's move that out of the way. And I'm going to put just a little flour.
Yep, stops it from sticking.
We don't want to add too much flour to this dough, so I'm only going to lightly flour my surface.
Winner, chicken dinner.
I'm just going to knead it a few times.
Yep. Nice.
Bring everything together.
She obviously knows what she's doing. Can't complain.
And then,
because I don't know what I'm doing.
I just pat it. I mean, you could use a rolling pin, but I don't think it's necessary.
But Stephanie does stuff by hand. Exactly. True to a word.
And just eyeball it to about a 1/2 inch thick. Just over a centimeter thick.
1/2 inch is is enough to do the job.
And
Am
then
I right?
I'm just using a round cutter. That's maybe
Simple.
2.5 inches.
Wait, that's 2.5 inches. Oh, okay.
Just down.
Beautifully done. Look at that.
Put that on your baking sheet.
Good job. That is some smooth cutting right there.
So you can see, beginning to end, it's only maybe not even 10 minutes. So just do this before a meal. Have a nice fresh hot scone with your stew.
She called it a scone. All those people in the comments that were like, nah, biscuits aren't scones. What are you lying to me for? Because so far all I'm seeing is scones. That's all I'm seeing.
In the morning, they're nice.
I'm not convinced, people.
Depending on the size of your cookie cutter, that's how many biscuits you're going to get.
I'd like to make one giant biscuit, please.
Bring it together and pat it out again.
I'm going to have to make these. I'm going to have to follow this recipe. I'm going to have to make them. I'll try and do it on camera. I'll see if I can set up a camera or something. And I'll do it. And I'll make the gravy as well. That guy, AJ was his name.
Get about 10 out of this.
Well, I'll make some of that gravy with the sausage meat one.
Bring this over here.
I reckon you could squeeze another one out.
If you had a lot of flour on the bottom, just take a pastry brush and just brush that off.
Okay.
So then in a
is that more egg?
Dish here, I have combined 1 large egg, lightly beaten, and then I've added 1 tablespoon of milk. And we're just going to brush the tops of the biscuits with this. This helps with browning.
Yep. Groovy makes sense.
Now, 400 degrees is a pretty hot oven, and that will...
400 degrees is very hot. Very, very hot. I assume that's Fahrenheit. Otherwise, that is a beastie oven.
Give you a nice crisp outside.
2 seconds in the oven.
To these biscuits.
400 degrees C.
Get inside will be nice and flaky.
Nice. So what makes it... Right, folks in the comments, educate me. What makes it flaky?
There we go.
And what makes a scone like
10 to 15
stodgy?
minutes, or until a toothpick, you can insert a toothpick in the center of one and it'll come out clean.
Whack it in there. Excellent work. Excellent work, cameraman. That is what we love to see. Excellent. 10 out of 10.
Okay, our biscuits are now done.
All right.
As you can see, they've got nice height to them.
Yep.
Nice brown on top from the egg wash. And they're kind of crispy on the outside. And to break one.
Excellent
nice
work, cameraman.
Soft inside. These are...
That's me. I know all my videos come out blurry. I am that cameraman.
Really nice, warm from the oven with butter and sometimes jam. So they're really best the day you make them.
Okay.
But you can cover them, store them for a day or two, and then maybe just reheat them in the microwave.
Yep.
So until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski from joyofbaking.com.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Really appreciate that. I have to say, though, as far as being educated, I'm not any further. All you've done is just confuse me even more. Because people say, they're not scones, they're not scones. They're not. It's flaky. Scones aren't flaky. Well, why is she saying the scones then? She called them scones. Why are you lying to me, people? Or is Stephanie lying to me? But look at that face. She doesn't look like she could lie. I don't know, people. I don't know. I'm not convinced. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know. Alright then folks, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you would just leave me a very cheeky like. If you want to see some more, or if you want to make any other suggestions, as I mentioned at the start of the video, please just comment down below. And if you want to see more of my content in general, I'd really appreciate you just ever so gently tapping that subscribe button. But that is all from me today, folks. I hope you have an amazing morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And I will catch you next time. Bye for now. Bye.